Our first story is about a bustling city. There was a large corporation known for its cutthroat environment. Among its many employees was a diligent and ambitious young man named Alex. Alex had always dreamed of climbing the corporate ladder, and he worked tirelessly, often going above and beyond his duties. However, there was a problem. Alex's immediate boss, Mr. Harrison, was a man known for taking credit for others' work. Despite Alex's hard work, Mr. Harrison often presented Alex's ideas and projects as his own during meetings with senior management. Alex, being junior and relatively new, felt helpless and frustrated. One day, Alex came up with an innovative solution for a significant problem the company was facing. Knowing Mr. Harrison's tendencies, he was cautious. He shared his idea only with a trusted colleague, Sarah, and decided to keep it a secret from Mr. Harrison for the time being. In the meantime, Mr. Harrison, unaware of Alex's idea, was struggling to come up with a solution himself. The senior management was pressuring him, and his reputation was at stake. Alex, seeing an opportunity, executed his plan. He anonymously sent a hint about his solution to another department, one that was known to be in good standing with the senior management. This department, intrigued by the anonymous tip, started working on the idea and developed it further. Meanwhile, Alex continued to work diligently under Mr. Harrison, never hinting at his secret plan. As weeks passed, the other department unveiled the solution to the company's problem, gaining accolades from the senior management. Mr. Harrison was baffled and envious, having been outshone by another department. The success of the project led to an investigation into its origins, as the senior management was curious about who had come up with such a brilliant solution. Through their investigation, they traced the initial idea back to Alex. Alex was summoned to a meeting with the senior management, where he was commended for his innovative thinking. Mr. Harrison, who was also present, was shocked to learn that Alex was the mastermind behind the solution. He tried to claim that he had guided Alex, but his lie was transparent, especially since Alex had proof of his original work and emails. The senior management was impressed by Alex's humility and integrity in not seeking immediate recognition for his work. They were also disappointed in Mr. Harrison for not fostering talent and trying to take credit falsely. As a result, Alex was offered a promotion, one that would have him report directly to the senior management, bypassing Mr. Harrison. He accepted the promotion graciously, thanking the senior management for recognizing his efforts. Mr. Harrison, on the other hand, faced consequences for his actions. His reputation suffered, and he was given a stern warning about his future conduct. He realized that he had underestimated Alex and had lost a valuable asset in his team. Alex's success story spread throughout the company, inspiring other young employees to stay true to their values and work ethic. He became a symbol of quiet resilience and intelligence, proving that sometimes the best revenge is simply excelling in one's own path and letting the truth reveal itself. As for Alex, he continued to climb the corporate ladder, always remembering the lesson he learned from his encounter with Mr. Harrison. He vowed to always give credit where it's due and to support the growth and development of his team members. The story of Alex's silent victory became a legend in the company, often told as a reminder of the power of integrity, hard work, and the importance of recognizing and nurturing talent. In the end, Alex not only achieved his dream of advancing in his career, but also did so by staying true to his principles and by outsmarting his unscrupulous boss in a professional and ethical manner. His story was a testament to the fact that sometimes the best revenge is not an overt confrontation, but a well-planned strategy that brings to light the truth and rewards the deserving. In the next story, there lived a man named John Thompson and his young son Jake. The Thompsons were known for their kindness and generosity, always willing to lend a helping hand to their neighbors. However, their peaceful lives were about to take an unexpected turn. One sunny afternoon, John and Jake decided to go fishing by the tranquil river that ran on the outskirts of Harmonyville. It was a cherished father-son bonding activity that they indulged in whenever they could. Little did they know that their lives were about to be disrupted by the town's notorious troublemaker, a man named Richard Blackwell. Richard was a cunning and deceitful character who took pleasure in causing chaos for others. He owned a small business in town, but his unethical practices had earned him a bad reputation among the locals. The Thompsons, being the honest and hard-working people they were, had always been an eyesore for Richard. One day, as John and Jake were peacefully fishing, Richard approached them with a wicked grin on his face. He accused John of trespassing on his supposed private fishing spot and demanded they leave immediately. "But Richard, this is a public area. Anyone can fish here," John calmly replied, trying to defuse the situation. Richard, however, was not interested in reasoning. He scoffed, "I don't care about your excuses. This is my spot now, and I don't want you or your brat ruining it for me." John, not wanting to escalate the conflict, decided to leave with Jake. As they walked away, Jake looked up at his father and asked, "Dad, why is that man so mean? We didn't do anything wrong." John sighed and explained to Jake the unfortunate reality of some people who thrive on causing trouble for others. He taught his son the importance of staying true to one's values, even in the face of adversity. But John couldn't shake off the injustice he felt. Determined to teach Richard a lesson, he hatched a plan with Jake. Instead of retaliating with anger, they decided to outsmart Richard in a way that would not only expose his deceit, but also bring a positive change to Harmonyville. The duo spent weeks quietly collecting evidence of Richard's dishonest dealings. They spoke to other business owners who had fallen victim to his schemes and gathered testimonials from the townsfolk who had witnessed his unethical behavior. John, being an avid photographer, even managed to capture incriminating moments on camera. Once they had a solid case against Richard, John and Jake presented their findings to the town's council. The evidence was undeniable, and the council decided to hold a public hearing to address Richard's actions. The news spread like wildfire through Harmonyville, and the townsfolk eagerly awaited justice. On the day of the hearing, the town hall was packed with concerned citizens. John and Jake sat in the front row, ready to reveal the truth. As Richard stood before the council, he arrogantly denied all accusations, thinking he could talk his way out of trouble. However, the moment John presented the evidence, the room fell silent. Gasps and murmurs echoed as the townsfolk saw the extent of Richard's deceit. The council, shocked and disappointed, decided to revoke Richard's business license and impose fines for his unethical practices. As the verdict was announced, Richard's face turned red with rage. He glared at John and Jake, realizing that his reign of deceit had come to an end. The townsfolk, on the other hand, applauded the Thompsons for their courage and determination. Harmonyville began to change for the better. With Richard out of the picture, a new sense of trust and cooperation flourished among the community. The townsfolk started supporting each other's businesses, and the overall atmosphere became more harmonious. In the midst of this positive transformation, John and Jake continued their humble lives, grateful for the support they received from their fellow townspeople. The father-son duo became local heroes, not for seeking revenge, but for standing up against injustice and inspiring positive change. As for Richard, he left Harmonyville with his tail between his legs, vowing never to return. The town that had once suffered under his deceitful influence now thrived, thanks to the bravery and integrity of a father and his son. The story of the Thompsons and their pro-revenge served as a timeless reminder that in the face of adversity, honesty and resilience can triumph over even the most cunning of villains. In the quiet town of Brooksville lived a kind-hearted man named Robert and his teenage daughter, Lily. They ran a small bakery that was the talk of the town, famous for its delicious pastries and warm atmosphere. Life in Brooksville was peaceful until the arrival of Mr. Harrison, a conniving land developer with a plan to build a shopping mall that would change the town's landscape forever. Mr. Harrison had a reputation for buying up properties and forcing small businesses to shut down. He set his sights on the block where Robert's bakery stood, envisioning a bustling mall in its place. The news spread through Brooksville like wildfire, and the townspeople were outraged. But Mr. Harrison, with his deep pockets and sly tactics, seemed unstoppable. Robert, however, was not one to back down easily. He knew that the bakery was not just a place of business. It was a cornerstone of the community, a place where families gathered and friendships were formed. Determined to save his bakery and the soul of Brookstill, Robert hatched a plan with Lily. They decided to organize a town fair, a grand event that would celebrate the rich history and charm of Brookstill. The fair would not only showcase the unique qualities of the town, but also bring the community together in a way that Mr. Harrison's mall never could. Robert and Lily worked day and night, baking special treats for the fair and creating a warm, inviting atmosphere. They enlisted the help of their fellow townspeople who shared their love for Brookstill and were eager to preserve its identity. As the day of the fair arrived, the entire town gathered in the main square. There were games, live music, and of course, the delicious pastries from Robert's bakery. The air was filled with laughter and joy as families enjoyed the festivities. Meanwhile, Mr. Harrison watched from a distance, scoffing at what he deemed a futile attempt to save a dying town. Little did he know that the spirit of Brookstill was stronger than he could imagine. The highlight of the fair was a talent show, where residents showcased their skills and passion. Lily, being a talented singer, took the stage and mesmerized the crowd with her heartfelt performance. The audience was captivated, and a sense of unity filled the air. As the fair reached its peak, Robert took the opportunity to address the crowd. With genuine emotion, he spoke about the importance of community and preserving the town's character. He shared the threat posed by Mr. Harrison's plans and urged the townspeople to stand together against the encroaching change. The response was overwhelming. The townspeople, fueled by a newfound sense of pride, rallied behind Robert and Lily. They decided to boycott Mr. Harrison's proposed mall, vowing to support local businesses instead. Word of the town fair and the unity it had fostered reached the media, drawing attention to Brookstill's unique resistance against corporate greed. The story went viral, gaining support from neighboring towns, and even catching the eye of influential figures who admired the small town's resilience. Faced with a united front and growing negative publicity, Mr. Harrison realized that his plans were destined to fail. The people's determination to protect their community proved stronger than any amount of money he could throw at the situation. In the end, Mr. Harrison abandoned his project, leaving Brookstill to thrive as the tight-knit community it had always been. The town fair became an annual tradition, symbolizing the victory of unity over greed. Robert and Lily's pro-revenge had not only saved their bakery, but had also preserved the heart and soul of Brookstill. The townspeople, grateful for the courage and resilience of their fellow residents, continued to cherish their community, proving that sometimes the strongest revenge is not in retaliation, but in standing firm against those who seek to destroy the fabric of a close-knit town. The next story is of a hard-working farmer named Samuel and his daughter, Emily. Their farm, nestled between rolling hills and babbling brooks, was a symbol of simple living and honest labor. Life was serene until a corporate giant named Greenco AgroCorp set its sights on the village, aiming to acquire land for a massive industrial project. Greenco AgroCorp, known for its ruthless expansion tactics, had little regard for the tight-knit communities it disrupted. The villagers of Meadowbrook, unaware of the impending threat, were caught off guard when the corporation began buying up land from unsuspecting farmers. Samuel, however, was determined to protect his farm and the livelihood of his fellow villagers. One day, Samuel stumbled upon a legal loophole that could potentially thwart Greenco AgroCorp's plans. The corporation had overlooked a zoning regulation that forbids certain types of industrial activities in the village. Realizing the significance of this oversight, Samuel decided to use it to his advantage. He gathered the farmers of Meadowbrook and explained the situation. Together, they decided to organize a grassroots movement to challenge Greenco AgroCorp's expansion. Samuel's knowledge of the legal loophole became the villagers' secret weapon. The first step was to raise awareness within the community. Samuel and Emily printed flyers and held town hall meetings, educating their fellow villagers about the corporation's plans and the potential environmental and social consequences. The response was overwhelming, and a sense of unity began to take root in Meadowbrook. As the news spread, the movement gained momentum. Samuel and Emily reached out to environmental activists, lawyers, and journalists who were sympathetic to the cause. The story of the small village standing up against a corporate giant resonated with people far and wide, and soon Meadowbrook became a symbol of resistance. Greenco AgroCorp, confident in its ability to steamroll opposition, dismissed the villagers as a minor inconvenience. However, they underestimated the power of a community fueled by passion and determination. Samuel and Emily, along with the support of their fellow villagers, filed a lawsuit against Greenco AgroCorp, citing the zoning regulation violation. The legal battle that ensued attracted national attention, turning Meadowbrook into a David and Goliath story that captivated the hearts of many. As the case progressed, Samuel and Emily faced challenges, including attempts by Greenco AgroCorp to discredit them and sway public opinion. However, the unwavering support of the community and their allies kept them resilient. In a surprising turn of events, the court ruled in favor of the villagers, citing the zoning regulation as a valid reason to halt Greenco AgroCorp's industrial project. The corporation, now facing legal consequences and public backlash, decided to abandon its plans for Meadowbrook. The victory was not just a legal triumph, but a testament to the strength of a united community. Meadowbrook had not only preserved its way of life, but had also exposed the flaws in Greenco AgroCorp's exploitative practices. The village celebrated its hard-fought victory with a festival, inviting neighboring communities to join in the festivities. Samuel and Emily, once faced with the threat of losing their farm, became heroes in the eyes of their fellow villagers and beyond. The story of Meadowbrook echoed far and wide, inspiring other communities to stand up against corporate giants and fight for their right to a peaceful, sustainable way of life. The small village, once on the brink of destruction, had become a beacon of hope and resilience, reminding the world that sometimes the underdog can triumph against the most formidable opponents.